Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Francis West. I've been asked by Damien to come and support him on this event, which I'm very grateful for, and you'll find out why in a minute. I worked out the other day that I've done over 300 presentations on cybersecurity since the beginning of COVID, and you can't keep me away. I currently serve on 6 different security panels, including the Home Office. I also serve on the London and also the Eastern Cyber Resilience Center. I'm also a serving member of, anybody heard of the WCIT, the Virtual Company Information Technologist? And I've just been awarded livery. I'm now a liveryman, so I can legally take sheep over London Bridge, which I just missed because instead of taking my sheep over the bridge, I was in Ireland watching South Africa lose the rugby, which didn't please me too much, but, the best team won. So from there, you can see my mission. My first mission was to educate and protect at least 1 million people by 2023, which I did last October. And that's why I'm here today, because I know that every time I sit in a room like this or stand and talk, I know one person or one company is better protected. So our new mission is to protect at least 1 million businesses by 2026. And that's why I serve on so many panels. So a quick agenda. I love telling stories. I love sharing facts. And now's the time. If you get easily scared, anybody get easily scared? Okay, well, you're going to go anyway. So seriously, now's the time to go. Because I honestly don't do stuff to scare you. I'm doing things to hopefully get you to take action. If there's one action you need to take today, is to speak to Damien and get all the stuff that they've been speaking about to get it implemented in your business. I'm going to show you many different ways that you can properly get hacked. You've seen a lot already. But most important of all, I'm a practical person. I'm going to show you many different ways today of how to protect yourself before you walk out that door for lunch. And that's my promise to you. You'll walk out more protected than when you walked in. And then I'm also going to give you a little QR code. Forget about the offer at the end. But if you scan the QR code at the end, you are going to get access to the slides because, believe me, you would maybe want to use those slides within your business to help people in your organization. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little game with you just to test how predictable you are. So I'm going to show a word on the screen. No cheating allowed. Whatever comes into your brain, the first thing that pops into your brain, once I finish, I'm going to ask you I'm going to put the answer on the screen, and all I want is your honesty to put your hand in the air if I guessed you right. Now there's 30 people in the room? Let's do the first one. I want you to think of a vegetable. Honestly, who thought of a carrot? About 30-40% of the room. You ready? Let's do the next one. I want you to think about a number between 1 and 10. Okay, hands up. Who thought of a 7 or a 9? Look at the hands. They're increasing every single time. Okay, here comes the third one. I want you to think of a piece of furniture. Let me see if I guess you right. Hands up. So why am I showing you this stuff? Because, we put our lives online. Every time we click on something, every time we like something. I had a case only the other day where this poor lady, my head of marketing, she just joined this new company, and she put her profile on LinkedIn. And within a week, she got an email from the CEO to say, we're going to this event tomorrow, and I want you to go and buy 5 £100 vouchers from Argos. And she felt, obliged. She went and she actually bought them with her own credit card. So my question to you is, and all that information purely from one LinkedIn profile. So I just want to see your hands again. Who thinks the CEO should give her money back? Gee, you tough people. Seriously. But this comes back to education. I think there's 2 problems here. Actually 3. One, they didn't have email security in place. If they had Hornet in place, you would have never received that email. 2, Also, training. If they were doing training with KnowBe4, she would have, even though she's a new employee, she wouldn't have fell for that scam. And number 3, culture. I think she was too scared to make that call to check with the CEO to say, is this email really from you? And do you really want me to go and buy 5 vouchers from Argos? Now, I'll tell you another good story. I have a few. So the other day, I was buying something, I can't remember, for my wife, upper management, I call her, and went to buy something from Argos. And as I'm standing there waiting for my order, another young person came to order some vouchers. And the lady at the till declined her purchase, which I thought, great. Because she said, are you sure this is for the person you think it is? I want you to go back, go and make 100% sure. And then if you still need these vouchers, come back to me. So I'm very impressed with Argos right now. So I'm just coming back to predictability. And that's especially with younger employees, because they are so fast. They don't think something is slow. When they click on something, when it doesn't respond instantly, they think it's broken. So has anybody ever heard of this website called Information is Beautiful? I can't see my own slides. Can everybody hear me if I stand here, or is there a problem with the camera?
I can see that the slides are a bit small.
Yeah, they are small. They're going to get bigger. Don't you worry. Right? So if we look at this, these are data breaches starting back in 2004, AOL, 92 million breaches, okay? So then let's just move on a bit. In 2009, Heartland lost 130 million. And now let's get interesting. In 2013, Yahoo lost 1 billion records. Court venues, another 200 million. eBay, 145. Now, let's ramp it up a bit. This is 2022. Do you see how the increase in data breaches has gone exponential? And this is excluding AI and ChatGPT that they've already mentioned. Just last year. So if this doesn't tell you a story, nothing will. So a lot of facts and figures have been shared already, but I'm going to share a few more with you. Who would like to guess? So if you consider that 2/3 of all crime today in the UK, of all fraud that's happening, is cyber fraud. What percentage do you think of the government's budget are they spending on preventing cybercrime? Please, any guesses?
Less than 5%, 2%.
Any others?
10%.
10? You're bad at betting. 1%. 1%. Now you can see why we've got from 237 days. As I was mentioning earlier about people sitting on your systems, the national average now for somebody sitting on your system, hacker, scammer, is 237 days before they even find out. And again, we deal with average between 12 to 14 cases. Another case the other day in Hertfordshire where they got into the accountants of this large company, they turned about 28 million, and they got onto the accounts lady's computer and multiple other computers. They were there for at least 6 months. And at the right time, they logged onto Xero and they changed the bank details and all the statements and all the invoices. They lost 1.4 million in 2 weeks. Because guess what? They're using normal antivirus software, which in my mind is about the equivalent of a chocolate block on a sunny day above ALOS. So 2 to 5%. It was interesting what Vanessa said, how little or how few people even report cybercrime. So all the stats we show you, it's all wrong because it's so understated. It's just what we think we know. 9 times more likely to suffer a cyber attack compared to a burglary. So here's my advice. Cancel your content insurance. You're wasting your money. Go and buy cyber insurance because your return on investment is infinitely higher. And the final one, 14 seconds. Every 14 seconds, a UK company is suffering a successful cyber attack. So do the maths. In the time that you walked in here this morning to the time you finished lunch, how many people? We pray that none of you is part of that stat. I'm not going to dwell on this because I want to get to the meaty stuff because I'm going to show you a lot of stuff later. But you heard the types of attacks already. This is interesting. This is the latest cyber breaches survey from this year. And you can see how businesses are being attacked. We heard about phishing attacks sitting at 94. It was interesting that audit is now saying that's gone up to 96%. But how many of you support charities? Can I see your hands? Giving people. So your valuable data is sitting with your church, with your local charity. And charities, as you can see here, are attacked so badly because they don't have the money to protect themselves properly. It's such a shame. But a lot of charities are used as conduits because once I can get into a local charity, I can then get to hold of all the rich donors. And I so wish the government would actually take some of the money. I found out the other day there's a £110 million pot when I was at the launch of the Eastern Forum, which I found a memo of. There's a pot of £110 million that we need to get our holds on because if we can help protect all these charities, because they're just a sitting duck. Supply chain, I'm going to go back to supply chain because to me that's probably one of the most important areas apart from the stuff that we've spoken about before. So the types of phishing, email, we know about this, spear phishing, whaling, smishing, vishing. Has anybody heard of vishing? That's voice facilitation. So a client of mine, new client, lovely lady, single user, based up in darkest parts of Scotland, up north, somewhere, is it north Scotland? I don't know. I'm clueless when it comes to this direction. And she does tendering for people. And they got into, they managed to fish, or vish, I should say, EE, and they managed to get her SIM transferred. That's called SIM swapping. Anybody heard that term, SIM swapping? I'm going to teach you how to stop that. Angler is a great new one. I don't know if you've seen that one. But
Microphone. I can't hear on the screen. The microphone behind you.
Don't worry, I'll stand here. Is that better?
There's one there to hold.
Turn these things up. Like that. Is that better? Not even on. Is it on? Can you hear me now? Is that better? We're holding two things at the same time. So angler fishing. Okay, don't know if you've seen that, but let's say you go and buy yourself a new fridge from AO.com. And about a month down the line, something goes wrong with your fridge. So guess what? You go onto their social media because you can't get through to AO. And you go, listen, really, I've got a problem with my fridge. And what happens next? They respond straight away. There's customer service online. It's funny when you complain on Twitter, they respond instantly. Meantime, it's a scammer that's now answered your inquiry on the AO.com's Twitter feed. And then they say to you, I'll tell you what, why don't we take this offline? And then, of course, you go onto a private WhatsApp chat and they say, oh, you know what, I'm going to send you a new fridge, not a problem, but we need you to pay £50 for the delivery. And they do that 1,000 times a day. It's bloody good business if you can get into it. Not recommended, but good. So these, again, very, very latest stats. So I'm not going to read them verbatim. But some of the ones that I really want to stand out is that if you look at board members with responsibility for cyber, that's going down. I don't understand why. Again, I wonder why people think that it's never going to happen to them. Only 18% of companies at the moment are providing some form of training. I mean, really? Only 37% have cyber insurance. Now, I don't know, let me just check. How many people in the room have cyber insurance policy at the moment? That's good. That's at least 5 out of 30, if there's that many people. Now, let me tell you for a fact that the cyber insurance, I work with multiple cyber insurance companies or firms, including now the Institute of something insurance, is another one. But cyber insurance policies are going through the roof. Why? Because so many people are now finally making claims. So the sooner you can take out your cyber insurance, the less you're going to pay for it. And my other prediction is we already spoke about cyber essentials, but I don't know if you know this, but when you take out cyber essentials, you get included £25,000 worth of cyber insurance cover. That's a drop in the ocean, let's be honest, but it's better than nothing. So the point that I'm going to make is please go and check with your broker and read the fine print, because there's a lot of, if you come to me afterwards, I'll tell you there are 2 or 3 of the best ones to use when it comes to cyber insurance. Otherwise, you're wasting your money. 2.39 million cyber attacks last year. That's what we know. Now, remember I said to you about liking stuff. How long do you reckon it takes to get anybody's information from a single click on Facebook? Anyone want to guess? Yeah, let's have a look.
Oh, hi, can I help?
Hot chocolate.
What's the name?
Joelle.
What was the name?
Alex.
Alex. There you go, Johnny.
Cheers.
If you like our Facebook page, we give you a free hot drink and a free pastry.
We have a new like for Damien. We have a new like for Damien.
Hey, Carly, are you standing by?
Standing by. Hi there, can I help?
Yeah, just liked your Facebook page.
Okay, I'll search Facebook now.
I'm searching Google.
Have a phone number.
I've got his email address.
Okay, Carly, are you ready for information on Damien?
Yep, I am.
Mother's maiden name is he banks with
Carly, this is the girl coming in now with the blue scarf.
What's her name? Nicholas.
Nicola. His date of birth, 7th of May. She lives at 38A.
Just be a couple of seconds.
2 children at age 4 and 6. Previous address. She's got the postcode.
Yep, got it. Damien, age 26 and a fitness instructor.
How do you know that?
Where did you go to UCL? Martin went to South Thames College. Assistant psychologist at Great Ormond Street. How did you know?
That is... I don't understand.
Oh, better?
You know I'm a Christian as well.
Oh, yeah, we know everything about you, Martin. Thank you. Nice to meet you, Anna from Russia.
Can you see this woman at the end? I saw a longer version of this video. What do you think she did with the cup? And then people wonder why they get hacked, right? But I tell you, Starbucks. So here's my toy. Remember, Vanessa spoke about this earlier. Anybody ever seen one of these? This is called a pineapple. Can't eat it. But inside there, I have a little chip. So when I get to this golf course here, didn't do it today, I promise, I duplicate the landing page and I put dash free. And you will not believe. So I save the landing page on here and then I redirect to people to the real one once they've logged on. But of course, what they've just logged on is to my little pineapple. And I copy every single keystroke. And at the end of the day in workshops, I show people what they've typed. They're not that impressed, I can assure you. But that's why I say to people, you think that, using public Wi-Fi is a good idea. No, it's not a good idea. Let me prove it to you. Okay, so earlier when I came, I logged onto the Wi-Fi. And then I just downloaded. So who here, be honest, who logged onto the public Wi-Fi? You see, sometimes you don't have a choice, right? So I've got this little app called IP Scanner. I drive my wife insane because I have a party trick. So let me just show you. Do you see this? I can see every single phone logged on. I can see their printers on the same wireless network. I can see Jamie's Mac. David. And just for fun, because I can't help myself, I then open up the printer. And once I open the printer, I can do test pages. If you go and ask them, they will tell you that I did. Yeah? Yeah? Are you a bit worried now? So I can see their webcam on there. The other day when I was at this other golf club, I could log into all their webcams. You know why? Because they were still setting at admin and admin. All the login details. So let me tell you the story about this guy that goes to Malta the other day. And now you'll see my point about printers. he goes to his mom's house and he goes, "Oh, Mom, I ran out of ink. I need to print my boarding passes." So he tries to print, and the printer doesn't work again. So off he goes to his mate's house, and finally he prints his passes, and the next day he's off to Malta. The next morning, you know, Mary, the nosy neighbor, she goes, "Mary, was that your son there last night?" She goes, "Yeah, you know, he came to print his stuff off and printer didn't work." And he goes, "Judith, here are his tickets." So the point that I'm making to you is if I can print to your printer or to the next door's printer by mistake, from the printer I can then log on to the rest of your network. And you briefly touched about Wi-Fi networks. If you want, I'll teach you how to secure them properly, because most people don't. If you think about COVID, and I want people to think like a normal wireless network, which 99% of people do not set up wireless networks securely. In my head, if you want to set up a wireless network securely, if you run a little app like mine, IP Scanner, which is free, you should not see anybody else connected. You should see the router or the firewall and your phone or your laptop, nothing else. And if you go to a lot of hotels, you'll see that to be the case, good hotels. But if you bring it back to my point about COVID, so imagine in the old days before we got jabbed, if we were sitting here in the beginning days and you got COVID, we'll all get COVID because we'll be breathing all the same air. And then my other favorite thing, people say, "Oh, you need to use a VPN." I'm like, really? Do you know what a VPN does? It just secures, it sends the infection securely from the device you are to the other device. How's that a good idea? And the reason is most people do not set up the VPNs properly. Don't get me started on VPNs. Anyway, so a few examples. I mean, I'm sure by now you've heard of the Amazon scam. And another one of my party tricks is I love it when the scammers phone me, because I keep them on the phone as long as possible. And seriously, I beg you all to do the same. Why? Because if you are wise enough to know that this is a scammer, the longer you keep them on the phone, the less likely were they to phone your mom, your dad, your sister. So please keep them, and then eventually they're going to swear at you, guaranteed. But so my mother-in-law was one click away from losing £8,000. One click, and I've got the whole thing recorded. She phoned me from my father-in-law's phone and said, "Please, I think I'm being scammed." As I walked into, I was at her house in 8 minutes. As I walked into into her bedroom where the computer was, he had the NatWest open, and he was about to click the transfer to transfer 8,000 into his account, and I just ripped the power out the wall. He already printed stuff on a printer. He was already on her phone because they use, AnyDesk? But the point I'm making is then what I did was I put my phone, and I've got the whole recording if you want it. I then took him on, and I had a lot of fun for 7 minutes. But he gave me death threats. He called me every name under the sun, and I just loved it, you know. So, but sadly, a lot of people. And coming back to, you can see the email address. It's so obvious maybe to you and to me, but to normal people, when they're busy and there's, you know, something urgent, there's something to gain, especially younger staff, I keep on saying that, you know, they'll go. But you see the links. Another reason why I love Keeper as a password manager, it's because when you go to a website, let's say this email came in, and you were asked to go into your Amazon login details. If that site was fake, Keeper will not pop up to say, "Yeah, I've got the login details." Now, isn't that a wonderful way to validate any specific website? So my advice to you, when you get Keeper installed, the password manager for all your staff, including yourself, make sure that everybody in the morning starts and never logs onto anything unless they come from a safe place, which is Keeper or any other password manager. Refund, just show you some of the other ones. Text messaging. In a minute, I'm going to show you how to deal with text messaging. A lot of people still just not getting this. Maybe I should do it right now. Okay. So let's work this out. So text message comes in. What do you do next? Any volunteers? Yeah? Anybody else? What do? You block it, you delete it. Hey? Ignore it, but it's like a little landmine. Do you know? It's like leaving an attack. People say, "Oh, I just delete the email." I said, do you always clear your deleted folders when you log out? No. I said, one day, you go to your deleted folders, you scroll down and done. So always empty out your deleted folders when you close Outlook. Anyway, so let me teach you the best way of dealing with this guy. Number one, we can see the phone number, right? Who's heard of 7726? 2 people. If you look at your phone right now, you know it's got letters underneath the numbers? Have a look at what it spells. 7726 spells the word spam. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to copy that number and forward it, create a new text message, open up 7726, paste that number, click send. Why? Because the more we report this stuff, all of us, the less other people will get done. I don't know how many thousand numbers they take down on a daily basis. So this goes through to action fraud and people like that. The next thing, if you really, really want to check this link, okay, copy the link, and I'm going to show you in a minute a brilliant website where you can check whether that link is legit or not. Okay? The next step, what do? Like you said already, you block the number. And then lastly, you delete the message permanently if it's a phone one. Whatever you do, some people, I find them amazing. They forward the message to 20 other people. Oh, you need to look at this new scam. It's like forwarding a landmine to 20 other people. Seriously? So please, never, ever forward any of these messages. Just if you really feel that way inclined, take a photo, send the photo. Because at least you won't infect people with the photo. Did you know now, this is from CompTIA, I'm a mentor for CompTIA, and over 60,000 apps now are infected on both the Google Store and also Apple. And in a minute, I'm going to teach you how to protect your phone, okay? So we've spoken about invoice fraud. I dealt with another lady the other day, Shane, and she runs a recruitment company, and she does very high-level recruitment. And they got into her email account, changed the bank details. She lost £91,000, only because she didn't want to spend £37 a month on security. Anyway, my mom used to say people must suffer, but not in this way. The thing is, what's happened here, the reason why she got done, again, I'll repeat this, is because her email security wasn't set up properly, as in she didn't have two-factor authentication on her email account. Number 2, she didn't have email security in place. And then she wanted me to prove to her big client that it came from there. I said, no, I can't do that. But wow, what a loss of money, because now she also lost the client. So she lost 91,000 plus the client, only because she didn't want to invest in email security. Urgent. Let's talk about this urgency thing. Nothing on this planet is urgent unless you're sitting next to a family member that's ill and they need to go to hospital. That, in my world, is the only thing that's urgent. Everything else, walk away. I'll give you another top tip. Who's got elderly parents? A lot of us, right? Are they getting a lot of nuisance calls and text messages? Do you know how easy to block that? You know, if you go into their phone, you go into contacts, you can, especially on the iPhone, I can't remember how you do it on the what do you call it, on the non-iPhones. They I must tell you, they are 400% more likely to get infected than an iPhone. I'll just put it out there. But what you do is you only allow contacts for text messages and calls. Think about that. Have you just blocked anybody else and unplugged the normal phone line? You know, that way your parents will never suffer. Because, another case study. I told you I deal with many. This poor lady, she's just passed away. She's based in California, beginning of the year. Her daughter-in-law phoned me. This woman uses a Mac. Anybody uses Macs here? Who thinks Macs are safe? Good, I'm glad nobody's put their hand up. Macs are not safe. They are so targeted today. So she didn't have any security on the Mac. Clicked on a link, popped up. She lost $800,000. And I can tell you longer story over lunch, but it was really sad. But she's now passed away. But guess what? You know the lady that referred me? Inheritance gone. So next time you think about your parents, go and protect them first. So let's go on. And then again, another story. I mean, I've got too many. But this other friend of mine, he's looked after an IT company, and they've got, dare I say, a different email security solution in place called Mimecast. Anybody heard of Mimecast? Don't use it. Because the infected email from the, from their accountant came through, executed on his computer. They're using WebRoot. Remember, I told you how effective WebRoot and all the known solutions are. And then emailed every one of his clients. Now, he's a wealth management company. And he couldn't understand. I said, you failed twice. You failed. No email security, just got straight through Mimecast. And 2, WebRoot just didn't even see it. So please, invest in the stuff and do it properly. Remember I spoke about Angler? So dark web. Vanessa touched on this briefly. How much time do I have left? Oh, good. When you warm me up. You know, I can do this 4 hours. But I won't keep people this long. So the dark web is where, in my view, everything starts. This is where you can buy child porn, AK-47s, any drug of choice, have it delivered to your house in this afternoon. So when your data ends up on the dark web and you do not know about it, you're just a sitting duck. And this is why, again, I'm going to point to Keeper a lot. But Keeper for me is one of many different features. The best feature for me of using Keeper, because a lot of password managers don't do this, it will tell you within 24 hours if any of your passwords have been compromised. And that's how you fix this problem. The reason why people get hacked or scammed is because they don't have the right solutions in place to tell them. So it's like walking around with a 24/7 ECG. If you want to know what the problem is, have the right tools in place. But the good thing is then, as soon as you implement that, and we're going to show you in a minute, who still saves their passwords in Chrome? Be honest. At least 4 or 5 people. And in a minute, I can assure you. But you can see here, so Zoom, BNI. Anybody does BNI here? They don't like me because I exposed them last year, and I did a big post on LinkedIn because their database got done. But what made me very cross about them was that the fact that they didn't tell their members, and I gave them 4 days because I know them well. And I said, please tell your members that you've been compromised so that at least they can go and change their passwords. But here's the thing. So LinkedIn has just been, I don't know if you know, LinkedIn has been done again in a big way. So we're all using LinkedIn right now. How many of you have 2-factor authentication turned on your LinkedIn account right now? Are you serious? You're all using LinkedIn, right? And you all have thousands of connections. So imagine if I can get you a LinkedIn account and I can start infected messages to all your, and worse, I'll have your LinkedIn account that you worked on years and years and years, have it to, imagine if they shut it down. You won't get it back. So please, before you go to sleep tonight, make sure you turn on, if you're all business people, go and turn on 2-factor authentication on your LinkedIn account. And for that matter, on every other account that you possibly can think of. But now, what I'm going to do at the end of my presentation, for anybody that's brave enough, I will run you a live dark web audit report. Because within 30 seconds, I can show any of you what data of yours is currently for sale. And I'm doing it legally, remember? Because I subscribe to a service that I pay for. Another thing I want to show you is this. This is probably, now I'm going to get a little bit technical. Has anybody ever heard of these terms, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC? 3, 4 people. This is so 5 people. This is so important to you, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because this is how invoice fraud starts. This is how a lot of attacks start. Why? Because most people only have SPF in place instead of DKIM and DMARC as well. To fix this problem takes about 1 hour. But the moment you implement those 3 security records, you're making it significantly more difficult for somebody to impersonate your business. But let me tell you for a fact, until you have these things turned on, I can send emails as all of you. And that's how that young girl lost 500 pounds of her own money, because this, again, wasn't set up. So make this a priority in your business. Go back to your IT provider and tell them to fix this. So when I run my dark web audit report, this is the kind of report that will pop up. You can see I'm no angel. You know, some of my stuff, I used to use the same password probably 6-7 years ago. Fact. But the other day, this was funny. I was speaking to this lady, and she runs a small business. And I said to her, Mary, how's Lola doing? And there's a silence on the call, Zoom call. She goes, what do you mean, Lola? No, your dog. You know, Lola, your dog. She says, no, Lola passed away about 3-4 years ago. I said, I'm so sorry to hear. And then the penny dropped. She said, how did you know I had a dog called Lola? I said, because I ran a report and you're using it everywhere in your passwords. Oh. So the point is, anybody heard of this website? Have I been pawned? Yeah, great site. Again, I've got it live here if people want me to test their stuff. But now let me teach you a few things. So this is a free tool that anybody can use to not only check whether your email addresses have been compromised, but you can go to I don't know if you can see all there. There's a notify section. Go into the notify section and add email addresses. Go and do the same for your kids, your parents, anybody you care for. Remember how I said we fix this problem? Because we need to know the information. So that's a very easy way of doing it.
Have you ever wondered if your email address...
So I made a little video, but I'm not going to go through the video because you can, again, when you download my slides, you can have a look at this stuff. Now, just going back to passwords, why is it so important? You know, if you look at these stats, this is from the London Cyber Resilience Centre. I took it from them. But back in 2007, we had about 6 passwords. Not a lot, I agree. But I don't know if it's true for everybody. I've got 487, but I'm not normal. So most people today have between 70 and 80 passwords. So this advice of doing 3 words, it's good advice if you have 3 or 4, because I don't know how many of you can remember 3 random words times 6. I can't remember 1 on a good day. So that's why I keep my brain as empty as possible. I use tools. So, and this is the thing, you know, we come across when we do audits, so many people sharing passwords again in their team. And especially, who Rob mentioned about earlier, was it Rob or somebody else? No, I think, it was you. About, again, about sharing 2-factor authentication codes. A lot of people have a problem sharing those codes. Why? Because somebody has to phone somebody and then they end up turning it off. Excuse me. I'm like, you're going to suffer. There's such easy way to fix it, because once you put that 2FA code in a recording keeper and you create a group, you can then share 2 or 3 people can then access that same group, which means they've got access to that 2FA code without having to make phone calls. And the better part of it, every time they use it, there's a log that they've used it. So that's how you fix this problem. Coming back to how long it can take to crack a password, who mentioned 8 characters earlier? 8 characters, you can crack any 8-character password in under an hour. Or less, depending on the tools you have into your hand. My minimum yardstick now is 20 characters. I am paranoid, I know. But with 20 characters, you don't have to remember them, so you don't care how long they are, really. But 20-character password on average will take 1.36 trillion years to crack. And I can guarantee you're all going to be dead, including me, by then. So they can crack on. But let the password manager generate your password so you don't have to remember any apart from one to log on. So, remember I promised you I'm going to show you. Let me rewind. How long do you think it takes a hacker to extract every single password from Chrome or Firefox or any of the other browsers? Any guesses? 4 hours? Any more? 30 seconds? 1 second? 10. All right, I made a video.
Do you store your passwords in Chrome? Let me show you what I mean. So if you open up Chrome and you go in the top right hand section and you click on the 3 dots and you go to settings, and then on the left hand side go to autofill, then click on passwords. If you look on either PC or Mac and you go into the section, you will probably find hundreds or thousands of passwords that you've been saving over the lifespan that you've been using your computer. Let me show you how quickly it will take a hacker to get every single password you've ever saved in your Chrome browser. So what you do is very simple. You go to a website called nersoft.net and you download a piece of software called chromepass.exe. Once you've downloaded it, you'll have to extract it from the zip file, and then all you have to do is to run the file. Watch this, you're not going to believe it. That's how long it took me to extract. You can see, obviously, in my case, I've only got one here because I never, ever, ever save my stuff in the.
How do you think when we set up Keeper, how do we get your passwords from Chrome when we port it across? 1 second. So please, gentlemen and ladies, never, ever, 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 I hope I'm clear, store any password in a browser. Use a password manager. So this is the latest. This again is data source, how secure is my password.net. And again, I'll show you the brilliant website. So what I normally use this with, I can show you real time how long it'll take to crack your password, any password, all right? But this shows you the latest graphical timeline compared to complexity it'll take to crack a password. So let's talk about supply chain vulnerability. You've heard about the police. I mean, it's gone up by something of 430%. So you've got to really consider now who are your suppliers and who are you supplying to. How secure are you? How secure are they? How would you feel about your supplier if they got done, they lost your data? How do you even make sure that they're secure? So my other prediction is it's only a question about a year, I reckon, that people will stop doing business with people that do not have at least the minimum Cyber Essentials accreditation. They'll just stop. Because the rates of attacks are going through exponentially. And that's the only way at least we can prove that they've made an effort. But I now will not deal with the business unless they're running a certain stack of security. I simply won't, including my... But the bigger ones I can't control, but the smaller ones I can. So let's have a look at, that's stating the obvious here. Now we can have some fun. Or at least I will, okay? I want you all to get your phones out. Open up WhatsApp, please. Go to settings. Go to account. Go to two-step verification. And be honest with me, how many of you got it turned on? There's one person putting their hand up, that's Damien. 2. Do you like it when I log onto your WhatsApp account and look at everything you've ever sent and that you're going to send? Seriously? Hey? So can you see it takes seconds to set up two-factor authenticate or two-step verification on your WhatsApp account? You know what gets me? Is why are these companies not making this de facto, like the banks have done? Before you can use WhatsApp, they should turn this on by default or stop you from using. I'll tell you why they won't, because they get 1 million phone calls of support and they don't want 1 million phone calls, so they'll just let you suffer. But please, the stuff I'm showing you now, you promised me one thing, you're going to share with at least 10 other people, because this is how we protect more people. Everybody done? I've got loads more to share. I'm only starting. Hey, you done? And you promised me this is going to be done before you go to sleep tonight or before you walk out the room here. Now, and I've made little videos on this. So if you get stuck, watch the video and then you can do step by step. So let's do the next one. So who uses iPhones again? Most of you. I want you to go into settings. And if you swipe down, you get the search box at the top. I want you to search for the word passwords in one word. Type the whole thing out. Passwords. You all find it? You'll see the little white background with a grey lock or other way around. I can never remember. Have you all got it? Open it up, please. I want you to go second one down. It says security recommendations. Who's brave enough to tell me how many do you have? How does it make you feel? Yeah, that's good. Oh, at least there's one. Thank goodness for that. So you got 220 compromised records sitting in your iPhone right now. So before you go to sleep, you get a box of wine or crate of beers, and you sit there and you fix it before you go to sleep. This feature has been available for 3-4 years, ladies and gents. Why don't you know about this stuff? Because believe me, I'm going to tell you another story in a minute. If I can get onto your phone, which I can, then I'm scraping all those passwords that you've already got saved. I did tell you this stuff is scary. But hopefully you're learning from this stuff. Right, now let's get to a proper one. Now I'm going to show you something. Remember, another case study. Last Monday, a friend of mine, Jane Baylor, she phones me. Her daughter's sitting in Spain, 24 years old. And she just lost the phone. Minutes later, £10,000 disappeared from her Monzo account. Do you know how it happened? I can bypass all your biometrics. Would you believe me or not? People think face, great, fingerprint, code. It's a waste of time. No, I lie. It's good to have layers. Who's ever heard of a SIM pin? Wow, 3-4 people. Now, let's see if it's turned on. So go into settings. And I want you to look for SIM pin. On iPhones, it's normally under mobile data. And be honest with me. Put your hand up if this is turned on. Do not turn it on now, please. Because there's a process, hey? Yeah, go in there. It should be there. It should be under either eSIM or normal SIM. Very good. SIM pin, yeah? Is yours turned on? Chloe, you should be ashamed. Hey. Anyway, but yeah. And let me explain why this is so important. Right now, if you do not have your SIM pin turned on, I can simply remove your SIM. I can move it, put it into another phone, and I've just bypassed all your biometrics. That's how hackers and scammers get you. Another lady, she's just lost 45. She left her phone inside the locker at the gym. So I don't know how they got in the locker, but they took her phone, took out the SIM, and they took a wallet, Lloyd's bank card. So this is in London. So they downloaded the Lloyd's app, and guess what happened? The PIN that's sent back to verify the Lloyd's account is sent back to the SIM, not to the phone. So guess what? I think using text messages for one-time passwords are very dangerous. If you can avoid them, you do. But anyway, so then they got into the Lloyd's account, went to reveal PIN in a Lloyd's app, and went to Westfield and bought loads of Macs. She lost £43,000. All because she didn't have a SIM PIN turned on. Now, let me explain to you the process of doing this, because, again, I've made a little video. So every provider has a different default SIM PIN. And again, please do not now, because if you get it wrong, you're going to hate me. Because it happened to myself, because I couldn't wait to turn it on. I got it wrong, and I bricked my phone. I couldn't even use Wi-Fi calling. So I had to wait till the next morning to phone to O2 to unblock my phone. Anyway, but I proved to myself that it works. So the process is you turn it on. It then asks for the default SIM. The default SIM is of the provider. So if you're with EE, the default SIM is 4 ones. You then click done. Then you'll see it go green. Then you say change SIM pin. When you click change SIM pin, it's going to ask you for a 4-character digit number, and that's one you better not forget. Because if you forget it, you brick your phone, which is the idea. So you put the default SIM in, your one, 4 digits twice. And from that moment forward, if you either, if somebody tries to steal your SIM or somebody tries to phone EE and do a SIM swap, they cannot do anything. If you reboot your phone, if you do a software update, it's going to ask you for that PIN only then. Do not write in the back of your phone, please. Okay? Does everybody get that? So, that's the one. Yeah, that same one. I wouldn't recommend that. I would keep them separate. Yeah, because if I'm sitting next to you in the train and I'm seeing you unlocking your phone and now you go to the toilet, I've just taken it, you're done. I would never do that to you. Anyway, so how do we protect our mobile devices? Who's got any form of protection on their mobile devices? Look around you. None. Hey? Yeah, well, that's something at least. At least I can't smash it with my hammer. Has anybody ever heard of a program called Sophos Intercept X for mobile? It's the only time I'm going to tell you to use something for free, I promise you. And you can download it from the App Store, either from the Google one or from the Apple one. And you get Sophos Intercept. Make sure you get the right one. It's this blue one with the 2 lines at the bottom. Not only will that protect your phone, it will protect you from man-in-the-middle attacks. It'll also, inside, if you look at the 3 lines at the bottom, at the top left, you've got a safe QR code scanner, which means you can safely scan QR codes. So the other day we dealt with another case where, you know what they did? You've got on the pub counter, you've got scan here, order your drinks, but this was scan here and win a meal. And somebody came and they put another sticker, another QR code on top of the existing sticker. And I'm telling you, thousands and thousands of people over a period of a month scanned that other QR code, put in their personal details and their card details. How stupid. Anyway, let me tell you how easily you can fix that problem. Use your nail and just scrape on the side of the QR code to make sure, because we see this at parking lots as well. Just do your nail and then at least you know that there's not a sticker on top of the existing one. Simple things are the cheapest ones. If you have to use a VPN, brilliant. Again, a second time I'll tell you something free. This is Cloudflare, a world-renowned company, 1.1.1.1. You can download, install it. It does slow your phone down a little bit, I can tell you now. However, I'd rather go slow and secure than not. But what I've just shown you is how to secure your phone and how to secure your traffic in transit. But my first choice is never use public Wi-Fi. But if you have, then you do those 2 things, and at least they'll get somebody else who's done nothing. The other, how am I doing for time? Marvelous. Okay. So 159. I've told you about 7726. Now, bearing this in mind is whether it's you or a colleague, you've just made a payment. You think, bloody hell, I think I've just been defrauded. What do you do next? You try and find your bank's number, don't you? Let me show you a shortcut. You dial 159, and it puts you straight through to like an answer phone that gives you all the banks. So if you're with Barclays, press number 4, and you're straight through their fraud department. Because the fastest you can get through to the bank, the faster you can stop the process. But, reporting scam websites, please do it. Because people say, nothing happens. No, there's a lot that happens in the background. So please do it. I've told you about those. Another thing which I haven't told you about is this one here. Has anybody heard of this website? Who called? Who called me? Brilliant. So when you get a scam caller, copy that number, put it into that website. Not only will it tell you other people that's already been scammed, or at least they've been warned, but then you taking part, if you're the first person taking the call, you can put a negative review, and then hopefully everybody else will find out afterwards. So another top tip, which is so easy to do. People talk about Wi-Fi networks. Since we've moved to working from home, our biggest problem is working from home because we log onto the same Wi-Fi. Did you know that on that same router you've got at home, you can set up at least 6 different Wi-Fi networks? So set up one for office, set up one for the kids, set up one for your guests. It will take you longer if you don't know technically how to do this. Phone version, talk, whatever. So this mad South African telling me I've got to have several Wi-Fi networks and set them up, because that way, and do not share them with the kids. And then at least you're self-isolating all those different work environments, because an infection cannot jump from one wireless network to another. Not possible. And that's how you fix that problem. Told you about that. So, yes. Yeah. Do you know HTTPS? There are more unsecure HTTPS websites than are secure ones. So what makes you think it's secure? Sorry, you've lost me. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's good branding, hey? Yeah, a lock. Well, it depends where they're sitting, whether it's a fake website, because you can have fake infected HTTPS websites. So that's why you need to come from a safe place. So your computer or your PC or your phone needs to be very secure, because that's where you're coming from. Not the other way around. But the answer is you can still get infected, yes, if you don't have the right security on your system. So I want to share some other stuff. I don't know if the West Midlands have their own app. Not sure, but if they don't, sign up to the Eastern, because there are 9 different cyber resilience centers. Like I said, I'll serve on 2. This is one of the best apps I've ever found. It's free, HSBC, fraud. Download it today, because it really is brilliant. It pops up and it tells you about the latest information. So again, from awareness point of view, I've never seen better, and you don't need to bank with them either. So that's very good. We've spoken about 2-factor authentication, absolutely everywhere. Why should you care? You care because your data is worth everything. Everything. And if you decide not to do anything today and not use Damien to sort all your stuff out, then these are the 10 things you need to do if you want a checklist. And I always say to people, this is a journey, not a destination. What we're doing here, and thanks to Damien that I was able to talk today, is it's a constant education, better systems every single day. Don't do a little bit today and think everything is fine. I've shown you a lot of good things, but that's the beginning of your journey. That's probably 3 or 4 out of the 50 you need to do. But at least it's a start, because most people don't even do what I've just shown you. So I feel very strong about this. We can't control a lot that happens around the world. But when it comes to cybersecurity, I reckon we can drop our risk by 99.9999%. Fact. You just need to know what to do and work with specialists. When your son or daughter, God forbid, needs heart surgery, do you go to the GP or do you find a specialist to do it, a heart surgeon? When it comes to cybersecurity, you've got to think about the same logic. Don't expect your IT company, who doesn't specialize in this stuff, to fix the problem or even know how to fix the problem. People always say to me on my panels, what is the biggest threat today to any company in the UK? I said it's either the IT person, the IT company, or the IT department. Why? Because most of them are at least 2 years behind their thinking, their knowledge, and that's why people get done. But that's why you're sitting here today, hopefully with taking this seriously. So that's my contact details. So what are the 3 things people are going to do as a result of what I've just shared with you? Any volunteers? Hey? Pen? That's good. Yeah. 2-factor authentication, everything. What else? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Exactly. But that's why, so many marketing companies or people like you are getting hacked. Why? Because once I can get into you, every single one of your clients are done. So you can share. No, that's not happening. And I'm dead serious. You heard earlier why from Sean. They've got so many more. They are rated number one in the world. They're used by the top business. They are evaluated every 5 seconds of the day. If you lose your face, your fingerprints, and your master sentence, you lose your data. As a supplier, we cannot recover your data. Not even Keeper can. It's the most secure password on the planet. But think about it. People say, but, I'd rather put my stuff in somewhere else. I'm going to crack on. Let's go and win a lottery. Go and buy a lottery ticket. But no, seriously. But that's the way you can fix this problem. Because then you can prove to your client that each time you log in, it's secure. So here's another one for you quickly. How many of you using Xero and QuickBooks? A lot. When last did you do an audit to see how many people are currently have access to your accounts and how many of them have two-factor authentication turned on? So every accountant is such a big target because they know if I can get into the accountant, I can get into all the Xero accounts. So you must go and check this. I would put a reminder every month and get rid of people that shouldn't be there, because sometimes you move accountants or bookkeeper, and then make sure the 2FA is turned on, because that's how you stop massive invoice fraud. If you want my slides, there you go. You can get them straight away. We also do LinkedIn live sessions. So every month we do a different one. So please go and listen back to those LinkedIn live sessions. So we've got experts from around the world. And if you want your dark web audit report, and also we send out cyber tips every Sunday, just little tips, front of mind. We even do a health quiz. So it'll take you 3 minutes, and I'll hand the reports that I get from you today back to Damien, because he's going to be following them up. But they're quite telling. I can tell you within 3 minutes how good your security is, if you're honest. Questions? Stunned to silence. No questions. Seriously. What about, do I have any time for a dark web audit reports, or shall we do it during lunch? Just say. Have I not scared people enough? Okay. All right, let's crack on. So if you can get me on to the other one. Yeah, this is their website. This is brilliant. Does anybody want to volunteer just to type in the existing password? Remember, we can't see it. We can't record it. You can even put a variation in there. Anybody want to test how long it will take to crack their password? Yeah, let's have a look. So this uses an algorithm. That's all it does. It doesn't record, doesn't know. But you see, Yana's already entered. It's okay, 1 trillion. So that's good. That's very good. Yeah, I like it. As long as you, but you know what worries me? The thing is, I always say the password that you can remember is not strong enough. How's that for logic? Because I don't remember. Yeah, go for it. But it's probably his. Yeah, it likes swear words. Let's have a look. Three weeks.
Nothing worth stealing there.
So let me show you. This obviously I'm an avid user of Keeper, and like I said, if we go to generate passwords, so this is the app that runs inside the browser, which is the only one I use. But have a look at this. You see, so if you click on the dice, it generates another 20-character password. So I only password I remember is my long sentence to get into my password manager, and I'm paranoid. I log myself out every 4 hours. just so I can log back in with my 2FA code and my face if it's on my phone. So if we copy that password,
Why every 4 hours?
what would you like it to be? Every hour?
No, I'm just wondering if there's any login.
No, good question. No, that's the wrong one. Give me a second. Because I'm paranoid, but I have so many layers of security around me. Where's that? That's there you go. 3 sextillion years, that one. So 4 hours is just. Who asked you? Or you? Yeah, it's just. You know what? It works for me. My view is if they can get through all my layers within 4 hours, they can have the data. Seriously, I feel yeah.
That's just a question. You go as far as you like down the rabbit hole. Like to. What would you recommend?
Yeah.
To spend 5 minutes on it. How long in the working week should you?
Are you talking now as a business owner of a plumbing company or what? Hey. Well, number one, they need to work with a specialist because then they don't have to worry about it. However, I say that it's still the responsibility of the business owner. It doesn't matter if you outsource the problem. So it's a random question, that, because if you're outsourcing it, then I would just do, there are a few key things that I spoke about earlier today, that you can have a look and you can test and measure. So again, I'm going to come back to Keeper. As a business owner, you should ask your cybersecurity company to produce you a report of all your users and see if they've changed all their passwords within 24 hours. Because Keeper would say, if it was my company policy would be the moment you're notified of a compromised password, I'll give you 24 hours to change it. So it's more about controls. Does it make sense that the owner can do reporting or controls and check over stuff? Not physically do or learn. They don't need to learn the stuff. They just need to check the stuff and make sure they work with a good provider. Does that answer your question or not?
No. So the average company.
No.
You don't know what you don't.
True.
So we'll take the trouble. Stuff like this, but you've got if you
Yeah. Yeah. No, they probably haven't already.
I would want to know. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, but Mike, it's like learning a new skill. I mean, it's not a skill that you pick up in a week or a month or a year's time. This has taken years and years and years and years and years. So it's in the same way you can say, oh, how long does it take a business owner to learn accountancy or bookkeeping? There are certain things in life, I think, that you need to find, or a law firm. You can learn a little bit. You need to learn the basics. But you're not going to go into depth because there's no time. You're running your business. You're deal with sales and admin and everything else. Because a little bit, remember, knowledge is dangerous. I know it's a difficult answer for me to give you. My advice is you work with a specialist. Hey.
I don't know.
Well, you looked at those 7 things. No, it's not really. Not in my. Look at the 7 things on the what do you call, on the banners outside. So as a business owner, I always tell the story about the lion. When somebody is, when the lion is chasing you, all you have to do is outrun the guy behind you. That's it. Simples. Okay. And when it comes to cybersecurity, same logic applies. You've got to outrun the person next to you in another business in the same building, because they're going to go to the weakest target always. And there's millions of them, 5 million businesses in the UK. And I'm telling you that less than 1% are adequately protected, in my view, because they don't have those 7 things in place. You put the basics in place, you just dropped your risk by a factor of 99%. Simples. But most people don't. They wait till they get hacked or scammed. Okay, so who wants me to run a report? Last thing. So I'm going to run a report. And all I need is your email domain name. That's it. Or I can do a personal one as well if you like. And I always say, I hope I find nothing. Would you mind coming to, is it a personal or business one? Okay, so if you don't mind. So what I have done is I can either show the entire password or I can mask from the 4th character onwards. And you'll probably see behind up masked from the 4th character onwards because I don't want to show, the fact that he supports Arsenal and so and so and so, because that's... Yeah, let's have a look. Thank you. So let's open it. This is good. This is good. No, I told you, I like it when there's no breaches. So very good. No, but that's not a this is the company name, that one, isn't it? Yeah, okay, hold on a second. So I'm now gonna, because there we've just checked for one. Now I'm gonna check your entire company. Okay. Okay, let's just run another one just for fun. Let's have a look. Let's open that one. That's still good. No? Because a lot of people would run that, and but the worst culprits are the FD, the MD, head of finance. They're the ones who go first. Come on, who else wants to volunteer? We need a good example. Yeah, come on. You. So let's just go back. Okay, go for it. So if you want to come afterwards, or and you want me to run it for you, with pleasure, I'll just send you a report in confidence. But you need to know about this stuff because then you can fix it. Oh, that's your personal one. Yeah. Did you click generate? Yep. Okay, marvelous. Ooh. Okay, so you've got 2 passwords currently. Last breach was in July 2020. It doesn't tell me. Black Media Games. That sounds interesting. What's that then all about? No idea. So have you ever used a password signing with ELE? What? ELE. No? No? So what's interesting, thank you, that's fine. Sometimes when we do run these reports, so this data is there from the day the world started, well, from the time it was compromised. Yes. What, you're going to do yours? You come type it in, please. But sometimes people's information pops up and they say, we don't recognize the password. I'm like, that's fair enough. But somebody somewhere decided to use your email address and create an account. And then let's say they created a LinkedIn account and LinkedIn was compromised. Now that's how that data then ends up for sale on the dark web. So the most important thing is that you know it exists. Yeah, go for it. Oh, look at that. Go down. So you think that's bad? Who banks with or who uses what's a place called Financial People? It'll come to me in a second. Ignore me. 4 pages. So look at this. Now, look at this 613. Look at the 613. But look how many times this password has been used again and again and again and again. Damien, you should use Keeper. All right. So if you go down 2021, scroll down. Yeah, that's it. So go all the way down. You see, I was expecting that. I would have been worried if he didn't have it. So he's got all 3 security records in place, which means it makes it very difficult for anybody to send emails as Discus. Not impossible, but very difficult. But there you go. So the last one was in April 20 this year, hey? Yeah, no, absolutely. But people are scared to see this information. You need to see it because then, yeah. If it's a personal one, then I've got to do it the below box. If it's a business one, I've got to do in the.
Stonebridge Gold. This place, Stonebridge Gold.
Oh, that'll be fun. Stonebridge.
Stonebridge Gold.
Yeah. Golf.co.uk. Yeah. Sometimes I get a bit cross if you run the stuff without their consent. Especially when you speak to the owners. Have a look at this. So only 5, but look, conference. Look at this conference password, NET, Kelvin, I bet you. It's so much fun. So if you see Kelvin just now, there I show you the whole. Yeah. Can you turn the recording off or not? Is it still recording? Just to prove a point. Okay. I can't get to the top now. Yeah. Maybe that's a good thing. Now I was going to show you, but for some reason the screen is not minimizing enough. Otherwise, I could have shown you the full password. But let's not do that now. Just for fun. Just to prove a point. Anyway, any other questions? Or anybody else wants to have a go? Otherwise... No, this is the service that we use all the time through Continuum. So if we go to, let me just quickly show you, have I been pawned, okay? And let me use my own one, which is, I can't remember, but let's go for Francis West at, I think it's Hotmail. I've had this since God was a boy. So let's have a look. So look at this, how many? 3 data breaches. You can see an online spam bot. But what's really interesting here, if you look at River City Media, I mean, I don't even know who they are. They lost physical addresses. So somewhere I filled something in with my address, and that's now for sale on the dark web. Bring it on. I'm okay. It's okay, but that's why this is actually say. But look at this, 1.4 billion. So have you seen the latest? What's a PayPal scam? Now I phoned PayPal in February. I was working with Slack here, right? Somebody we both know, and PayPal was done. And as a subsequent, email came in, and dare I say this? So it got straight through Slacky's email account. Ours was stopped. He forwarded it to me and now stopped it. Anyway, I'll leave it there. So then in the afternoon, we phoned PayPal and we said, listen, we reckon you've been compromised. They go, yeah, we know. You know, it took them 3 months to tell all their clients that they've been compromised. And there I have a big problem with, you can see. Because for 3 months, so many people's PayPal account is now exposed. And that's why, if there's one thing you do today, start using a solution that will tell you if your passwords are compromised, because then you can take action. I'll leave it at that. Thank you for listening.